Hey guys, it's Jill Coleman here with JillFit Physiques, and I'm answering some of your questions today. The next question is from Melissa. She asks, how do you mask the taste of a pea or rice protein blend? So first of all, let's back up a little bit. Why would we be using a pea protein or a rice protein instead of a whey protein? So one thing is to know about protein powders is that whey is one of the best options for building muscle, especially post-workout. It's a quickly absorbed protein, and it also is dairy. Dairy contains by nature a high percentage of branched-chain amino acids, which are insulinogenic. You need insulin to build muscle, so post-workout having a whey protein supplement is optimal. Why you maybe wouldn't want to use whey is if you do have a dairy sensitivity. So you don't necessarily have to be lactose intolerant, but you can be a little bit sensitive to dairy. And how would you know if you were? First of all, you would know from things like your skin. So check out if you're breaking out often, it could be a dairy issue. Also, if you're having GI upset, so a lot of times if you have a sensitivity to that, if you're holding water, that's another thing that could be a dairy allergy. If you, just want to be eating more later, or it seems to increase your cravings and hunger, that means it could be a trigger food for you. So all of these kind of biofeedback tools give us keys into know if we might have a sensitivity to dairy. So you don't need to do a lactose intolerance test to be able to tell that. Dairy, for some people, is absolutely fine. For other people, they might have a little bit of sensitivity to it. So if you feel like you're doing everything else right and you're not shedding water, you're feeling like you're maintaining a little bit of a puffy look, it might be a dairy issue. So in those cases, you might not want to use whey. And also casein is a dairy protein as well. So cutting out whey and casein, you'll probably go to a brown rice or pea protein. There's also hemp proteins, egg white powder proteins, and all of these are fine. These are good options, but the rice protein, for whatever reason, the consistency of it tends to be chalky, so when you mix it in with shakes, it doesn't really mix all that well. With pea rice blends, they tend to blend a little bit better, so my favorite is Vega. Vega, V-E-G-A. It's a, they have two options. One's a sport, which I think is a little bit lower carb. It's higher in branched amino acids, and it's a good option for post-workout if you're not going to do whey. Vega Sport is very good. It's a little bit on the higher sodium side, but post-workout, that's just fine. The second Vega thing is called Vega 1, and that's more of a meal replacement, and you can use that kind of anytime you want. Post-workout is fine. If you want to eat something pre-workout, that's fine as well. So Vega 1, those are my two favorite, and the reason I like them is because the taste is not all that great, but the consistency is much better. They mix into shakes better. So a couple things to kind of mask or improve the consistency of the powder. One thing is cocoa powder. So if you use unsweetened cocoa powder, it really is a powerful, really potent taste. And if you add that to a chocolate, pea or rice blend protein powder, it definitely kind of overcomes that flavor. Use a little bit of stevia. I use stevia, liquid stevia drops, and that helps as well to just make it a little bit sweeter, and it makes it a little bit more smooth as well, just adding that little bit of extra powder. Another thing you can think about using is PB2. That's a peanut butter powder. It's just defatted, so it doesn't have any of the peanut oil in it, so it's just a powder. It's lower in calories, it's lower in fat. And adding a little bit of extra powder to your shake, and if you're using ice and almond milk and things like that, it makes it a little bit smoother. You can use regular peanut butter as well. That helps with consistency, and also peanuts will always kind of mask a strong peanut. Peanut butter is a really strong flavor, so it does mask that that flavor as well. The last thing is for consistency, so you don't get that kind of chalkies, you can actually add a little bit of either fiber. I use metabolic fiber for metabolic effect, but you can also get, any sort of fiber helps with consistency, as well as if you use a little bit of like guar gum, but remember it has to be a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, and add that in, or xanthan gum, tiny, 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 like literally a pinch. If you put too much in, it becomes cement. So you want to just use a tiny bit of that in your shake. Another thing that I use sometimes is sugar-free pudding powder. So it does have some artificial sweeteners in it, but it does improve the consistency of the shake, and it also helps to mask that flavor. So it's a couple things. It's consistency as well as flavor. Think about things like cocoa powder, peanut butter. Bananas also have a strong flavor that can overcome that kind of rice pea flavor. Other things are consistency, would be a guar gum or a xanthan gum. fiber, or sugar-free protein powder. So hopefully that helps you guys, and we'll see you next time.